So a quick thank you to our sponsor, Careerist, before we dive into today's episode. Because not everyone wants to spend their time learning how to code to get that elusive career in tech. And with Careerist QA Bootcamp, you don't have to. In just 4 months, you can have live training, a remote internship, and a career coaching that sets you up for success. Because in a world of job layoffs, QA is one of the fastest growing fields in tech. And there are currently 37,000 openings in the US right now, and with salaries up to $105,000. And Careerist grads, they're working at companies in 42 states, and with a very highly respectable 4.7 star Trustpilot rating, I think it's clear the model seems to work. And remember, if you don't land a job within a year, you get your tuition fees back. So what's the catch? Well, the only catch really is that the seats for the next class won't last. So you'll find the link in the show notes. Check it out. Let me know how you get on. Maybe I can get you on the podcast when you get that career in tech and tell me about your journey. But now it's time to get straight into the discussion with my guest today. So if you're curious about AI native storage, what sets it apart from traditional options, stay tuned. You're going to love this one. But enough from me. Let's get today's guest on. So a massive warm welcome to the show. We first met in Silicon Valley in person. Today we're recording remotely. But can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, thanks, Neil, for having me. And I look forward to speaking with you today. So my name is Michael Wu. I am the president and general manager for Phison US. So I started in engineering and found my way to Phison about 17 years ago, where I spearheaded the company's expansion in the US. So now I wear many hats across customer support, engineering, marketing, and just managing the office here. And so for most of the time, Phison was focused on ODM designs in sales. But recently we have expanded to launch our own enterprise and AI brands, Pascari and aiDAPTIV. So that has been my focus in the past year.
And there's so much we've got to talk about today. There's a big announcement as we record today. But to begin with, to give people listening an idea of the kind of work that you're doing here, Phison's aiDAPTIV Plus platform powers the core AI capabilities within ONEai. It's something I've been reading about, something I learned more about when I was on the IT press tour recently. But for everybody listening, hearing about you for the first time, tell me more about what it is, what makes it stand out, especially compared to other AI accelerators on the market right now.
So you have probably seen AI is spreading across the entire industry, and everyone is trying to resolve problem of how to adopt the AI, right? So a little brief background on the aiDAPTIV Plus. It is a affordable AI training and inferencing solution for on-premise environments. Phison has been storage leaders, making NAND flash. But what we have done is we are able to use our expertise in managing the storage and create a brand new architecture. This is powered by our Pascari SSD storage, adaptive cache storage solutions. So how the solution works, we leverages a high capacity storage to offload LLMs, large language model, from the GPUs. So it acts like a expansion memory for the GPU. It removes a lot of AI cost barrier for businesses, government, and education institutions, and used across different applications, right? Enterprise, small, medium businesses, which we'll cover today with one of our partnership, and with the StorONE. But it's also widely used in the consumer education and research. And it comes with different formats. It could be in workstation, it could be in PC and laptop. So anyone interested in AI can learn how to train models and in comfort of their home.
And you mentioned partnership there, so it seems naturally that we should introduce everyone listening to StorONE and how with Phison they've announced this expansion of a strategic partnership together to fuse the power of intelligent story with advanced AI. But tell me more about how both of you have collaborated technically to integrate aiDAPTIV Plus into the storage layer for automated LLM training and inference. Incredibly cool what you're achieving together here. But tell me more about that, especially as we're recording on the day of a big announcement too.
Oh yeah, StorONE is a storage expert. They provide the storage solution stack through their software. It works on different kind of server hardware. So for StorONE, the newly announced the ONEai, it actually connects the storage engine and the AI acceleration layer to manage the data that sits into the server. And it has built-in intelligence, workload orchestrations, so that the data that's stored in the server is able to be part of the AI training. And also the users can actually run inference just like ChatGPT on-prem. Using all the on-premise hardware. So this partnership, it's a one of its kind. It actually addresses the expansion of GPU memory using aiDAPTIV. So what you get in the net result is a high performance inference with expanded training capability without the need for an external infrastructure. It's easy, it's plug and play, and I would like to call it the storage appliance, right? Everything is plug and play, everything is in one place.
And to bring to life what we're talking about here and help listeners understand the kind of measurable impact that we're talking about, in what ways does aiDAPTIV Plus, how does it improve things like GPU efficiency and lower power consumption within that ONEai system? Tell me more about that, because it's a big deal, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. So with ONEai, users actually benefit from reduced power, operation, and hardware costs. In most of the system, we are actually able to cut the hardware costs by about 8 to 10x. It's able to create an on-premise LLM training and inference on all the proprietary organization data, and without all these extra costs involved.
And one of the big challenges in any industry now, and every modern business, is that balancing data sovereignty with AI performance, especially for enterprises that want to keep LM operations on-prem, for example. So how does ONEai address this?
So keeping AI training on-premise is actually an ideal way to retain data sovereignty, right? You've heard about it. Jensen Huang, in many occasions, says, you need to have your own AI. Your country need to have your own AI. Actually, recently we have fly data center onto the moon, right? That is about how to keep the data safe, secure in space in that project. But one of the challenges the organization had to face is that it's complex to do on-prem. It's expensive. Actually, the way that we started this project is, hey, the engineers say, I want to have AI in my organization and I need a $2 million budget. And my CEO says, no way, So engineering went in the lab and, discover, hey, instead of keep buying GPU and GPUs and GPU, why don't we extend the memory of the GPU, which is the key to actually train large language model. Now, the trade-off is you're going to trade off some performance, but at the same time, a lot of the SMBs, governments, healthcare, they do not have to train 24/7. They are not really selling their training as a rental to make revenue. They are using for themselves, right? So ONEai actually insert the AI capability at the storage layer at the fraction of the cost, taking advantage of our technology aiDAPTIV. So if you would have built a server with that kind of a training capability, all the big models out there, it will require a very heavy investment on GPUs. And we are able to bypass this by using storage as the memory, lowering the TCO, and then all encompass a turnkey solution inside the box.
And I think many companies, especially business leaders listening, will know all too well that struggle with the cost and complexity of scaling their AI workloads. But I think it's important to highlight today, this isn't just a problem for large enterprises. So can you tell me a little bit more about how aiDAPTIV plus integration into ONEai, how this actually helps lower the barrier to entry for smaller organizations? Because that's something we need to shout about too, right?
Sure. Through this technology partnership, we are filling the gap between traditional storage and AI structure by delivering a turnkey automated solution that simplify the AI insights for organization with limited budgets or expertise, right? We are lowering the barrier to entry. There's a lot of people running AI now, right? Using AI, but to actually make AI completely customized for you, you need to AI train all the data inside the organization. So by lowering the barrier, there's going to be more people know how to train, how to create their own AI without requirement of building a large scale AI environment, or just send the data to the cloud, which may be prohibitive for some organizations.
And one of the things I try and do on this tech podcast every day is almost treat our conversation like a big corporate meeting room. We got the stakeholders from around the business, maybe a member of the board even, and trying to understand the kind of value that this technology can bring. But for the IT people sat in this virtual meeting room, the techies, can you share any insights on how Phison's E28 AI-enabled SSD controller, or the Pascari, I think it's the X200Z SSDs, how they complement ONEai's performance and reliability? Because it's important to find out what's going under the hood too for the techies in the room.
So our current solution that's offering to the public is using our previous version of NVMe controller that is fast, but it does not have an AI built into it. So the newly announced Phison's E28, it's the fastest Gen 5 SSD that you could see it out there today. It actually have some built-in AI to further enhance the performance of our aiDAPTIV technology. Actually, in the internal test, we're seeing performance improve up to 187% of our previous aiDAPTIV solution with this new drive, right? And in regards to the Pascari X200Z SSD, it is a recently announced cache drive in our enterprise SSD lineup. It's used for high endurance architecture that requires up to 60 drive write per day. And guess what? In order for the aiDAPTIV cache drive that we talk about today to be able to act like an expanded memory of a GPU, it needs to match the endurance of the GPU. So the same technology behind this X200Z is also used in the aiDAPTIV SSD, the AI100. And so with the amount of data that must be swapped between the GPU memory and the SSD, because we're offloading all the training data, SSD is required to have a high endurance at the flash level. In fact, we have tested multiple workloads and scenarios. Even if you run all the way 24/7, you'll probably need about 50, 60 drive write per day on the SSD, but we spec at 100 drive write per day to achieve the best performance and reliability.
And it really does feel like an exciting time to be working in technology right now. And we're still relatively early on in our exploration of the art of the possible. So if I was to ask you to look even further ahead, how do you see Phison's AI aiDAPTIV Plus evolving to support future generations of even bigger AI workloads and massive storage demands? What excites you about that future and where we're heading, and how do you see it all evolving?
Well, Neil, I don't have a crystal ball, but it's safe to say that the models AI models that is being trained constantly right now, it was gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger. So Adaptive Plus and it's built to scale to accommodate models that's come. So to give you an example, one of the most popular open source model is Llama 3.1 for Meta. It started as a 70 billion parameters, but it quickly raised to 405 billion parameters. And recently, we even heard an announcement that Llama 4, which is in the work, it could scale up to 2 trillion parameters. So how can you scale so quickly with only having the GPU memory to be able to accommodate the training data, right? So actually there's a ratio that the amount of the model size versus the memory requirement, it's about 1 to 20. So by using the SSD technology to scale model for training, it's much better solution than just rely solely on the GPU. So it's built to be future-proof. Actually, we are increasing capacity and introducing new form factor, going from like M.2s. It's a form factor very popular for like workstations or laptops, all the way to U.2, which is a go-to form factor for servers, and increasing all the way up to, 8 terabytes capacity. And just imagine how much of that capacity that can help to extend the GPU memory, which is in the gigabytes, right? So this will enable us to support up to that 2 trillion model that I just mentioned to you, all within a single server box.
Some mouth-watering numbers that you drop there. So I'm curious, what advice would you give to any IT leader that's probably listening to this podcast now, maybe evaluating whether they should adopt an AI native storage solution like ONEai versus maybe building or outsourcing their own AI infrastructure? What kind of advice would you offer to that person listening?
Actually, what have been noticed is that the concept of AI training in the US, a lot of the directions are looking at more cloud-based kind of solution. You rent your GPU, in the cloud. And I think one of the reason is the cost factor of building and the complexity of building a on-prem solution. But actually, the concept of on-premise AI training has become much more common in the APAC region, such as China. And I think over time, we're seeing that more and more, it will become more and more common in the US. So as an IT team, where you have budget concern and you have to make strategic infrastructure decisions, you have to consider the potential for a unpredictable cost in the cloud, right? Or the need to have a secure on-premise solution. And as you know, models will continue to scale so quickly, it will outpace all the memory and GPUs. And unless organization had unlimited budgets to buy GPUs, and expand the GPUs, there's a certain point where you can only deal with a smaller model. So this is where we came in with aiDAPTIV using Flash technology as a GPU expansion, and consider the importance of on-premise simplicity, simple solution for confidential data, depends on what sector you're in, and something that won't take hours from the team to build your own DIY infrastructure. You should use that time, right, for your AI intelligence, something that's plug and play and easy to use.
And I'm curious, which markets do you serve the most? Are you open to businesses, consumers, and everyone in between? Are there any particular industries that you're bigger in than others? Or
we have seen that this technology is most prevalent in the small and medium businesses, governments, and research sector, where having a a proprietary and on-premise solution for AI is more important. I'm very excited also to share that in the educational sector, where a lot of students and professors, they actually do not have access to enough GPU, right, in the schools, right? So what we have done actually as the part of the aiDAPTIV is also that we have created super affordable like PCs or laptops that is good for university students to get their hands on AI training, right? And you can find all this even on the retail channels, as you know, they're available today, Neil.
Awesome. So for anybody listening who wants to find out about anything we talked about, whether it be the education stuff or the hardware, anything in between, the AI partnership, where would you like to point everyone listening? Where should they be checking out to dig a little bit deeper on some of this?
Sure. So you could go to, you can see a lot of information from our company website, Phison.com. That's spelled as Phison.com. And to know more about aiDAPTIV, you will be under our application sections. You could see our enterprise portfolio, Pascari SSDs, at the PhisonEnterprise.com.
Awesome. Well, I'll have links to everything, make everything nice and easy for people listening to find. And before you came on the podcast today, I was scouring the reviews for the Phison E28, and reviews just coming straight out. And so many people were calling it the future of low power speedy Gen5 SSD. So there's a lot of positive feedback out there already. But more than anything, just thank you for breaking everything down into a language everyone can understand today. Really appreciate your time.
Of course. Thank you, Neil.
So that was Michael Wu from Phison Electronics, giving us all a glimpse into how smart storage and AI acceleration are starting to blend together at the chip level. So how are you planning to keep your AI workflows on premises? Or does a hardware accelerated platform like ONEai sound like a better fit than rolling your own stack? I'd love to hear your take on this. Please drop me a message on LinkedIn, X, Instagram, just at Neil C. Hughes. And please, for more information on Phison's tech and ONEai, check out their site. I'm going to put links to everything and help you stay ahead of where storage and AI will meet next. But until next time, thanks for listening and keep exploring how tech is shaping tomorrow's business. Speak with you all then. Bye for now. Please remember, if you enjoyed today's podcast, check out our other 7 shows over at the Tech Talks Network. So that's techtalksnetwork.com, where we now have a growing ecosystem of 8 podcasts: Tech Talks Daily, AI at Work, The Business of Cybersecurity, IT Infrastructure as a Conversation, Conversations from the Show Floor, Startup Builders and Backers, Business Technology Perspectives, and Consulting the Future. There is so much content over there. And you know what? It's all free. So please check those out. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll be back again with another guest tomorrow. Bye for now.